shifting into the U.S. politics, which, by the way, by comparison to what these people are enduring in Colombia, seems like an absolute joke right now. Every time I come back from there, I'm always like, why the hell? How do these people who have lost so much really manage to do all of this organizing, manage to get their countries out, people to be in the streets and protest? And it is because of that suffering, I think, which is why I've come to the conclusion that the only way the American people, the people of the United States, will give a damn about anything is if they actually suffer a little bit, suffer a fraction of what these people suffer. And unfortunately, I have a lot of love for the people of the United States, but then you become complacent when you don't actually care about foreign policy, when you only care about bullshit. And then you have people like Joe Biden, who a lot of these progressives literally cried to everybody and called them fascists if they didn't vote for him. A lot of people from the Bernie movement that I knew that had voted for third party in 2016 regressed and went back and said, you have to vote for Joe Biden to stop the fascist Trump. Yet under Joe Biden, we've received less money. Things have gotten worse. He has been even more of an imperialist with the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken. And it's really concerning because a lot of people who live outside the U.S. are like, these people don't care, though, that Joe Biden's doing this. When it was Trump, it was on the news 24/7. But because it's Joe Biden, as I predicted, a lot of people were going to go back to sleep. A lot of people were just going to ignore it. And you still hear people talking about Donald Trump as if Donald Trump is president. And so Biden actually has been failing. I mean, I think the hashtag violent Biden is like the worst or something like that was trending on Twitter. And Biden actually told people that we can't just click a switch and lower food and gas prices, because food and gas prices are going up in spite of many, the possibility of controlling these prices. They're still going up, and they have been going up, of course, since the pandemic, right after the quote unquote pandemic. So he did a video, fam, where he said this really in public right after, of course, we've been giving billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. So let's go ahead and play what he says.
There's a lot going on right now, but the idea we're going to be able to, click a switch, bring down the cost of gasoline is not likely in the near term, nor is it with regard to food.
Bam. It's not likely we're going to flick a switch and send $40 billion to another country, okay? Not likely.
I mean, that's the thing. And I think, again, if this was any other country, people will be out in the streets protesting. People would be out and saying, what the hell is going on? Why are you, why is this happening to us? Why are we being ignored with what's going on? I mean, the baby formula thing is still a thing. The fact that inflation is high is still a thing. The fact that these gigantic companies like BlackRock are buying up everything, and now it's just ridiculous. But yet you don't see people out in the streets protesting. You don't see people, really talking about this stuff and how this foreign policy is directly related to what we're going through. But you just see people talking about who they want to elect next for president. And it's just a complete waste of time.
Fam, too, when you were talking about earlier about the way people have to suffer in America, just maybe to open their eyes, there's a lot to that, because America's foreign policy is really dependent on making sure other countries stay below us and on the poverty line, right? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of Americans then were like, well, these countries can't get their shit together. I mean, what's going on? Why are they so poor? But when you get to go and see these countries, you get to actually witness the foreign policy aspect and what it does to these countries. They want to keep them destabilized, so it's easy to extract resources from them. It's easy to put in your monetary system, and it's all by design. And that is something that we really need to pay attention to as a society and start saying, hey, man, maybe we got something to do with this. Maybe our foreign policy, and our foreign policy is everywhere. It is the world. The United States the empire wants to conquer the world, or the oligarchs that are controlling it. And when it comes to the situation right now, you need to look no further when it comes to gasoline than diesel. We don't import any diesel from Russia. They're like number 4 on the list. We make more diesel in the United States than any country in the world. We produce it. So then why are we having these ridiculous diesel prices right now for truckers? Well, one reason is that we want to sweat out the small guy, the little independent guy. We want to make it so only the big trucking companies can afford stuff, and therefore it goes consolidated into the corporate state, the fascist state, which is the corporations merging with the state. So all your comments reign true. I don't wish harm on anybody, fam, but maybe we do have to see it. Maybe we do have to live a little bit like these people live over there, these other countries, and then say, well, it's cause and reaction. It's happening because of the foreign policy. It might straighten people up, wake them up. I don't know.
I mean, I think so. And of course, Oz has a meme. Wait 6 months and we'll send you 600. Wait 2 days and we'll send you 14 billion. Now it's been like over 54 billion, if I'm not mistaken, or at least.
Well, that's just in the last month.
Yeah, well, yes, this is the last month, but yes, exactly. It's hard to keep track in general because this conflict hasn't been going on that long, but yet, Ukrainians keep getting money. And I always point this out, that it ends up in the hands of the Azov Battalion because that's left of the military. That's what's left in that military over there. And it doesn't go to Ukrainians. And by the way, since when do we care about refugees? Why Ukrainians? And the fact is that they're destroying the country of Ukraine to get their geopolitical goals met. That's what the United States and NATO are doing. They have no problem destroying Ukraine to get what they want. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're actually the ones destroying Ukraine far more than Russia is, because economically, both Ukraine and the EU are not going to be the same, right? And so, when you go to Colombia, where people are actually fighting for their lives on this election, and then you come here and they tell you every election is the most important election of your time, and that you must, vote out red fascists. It's just hilarious, and it's really enraging to me, because I would give anything to really make everybody take these trips, go down to the global south, see how people live, see what people have endured, learn the history that they never taught you about really what happened and how Colombia is a de facto neo-colonial state of the United States, and the guerrillas and the current government was supported and implemented by the United States. And so you just get so angry because you realize like how it's just like the evil is this government. And and it's insane how it's really not about the people. I think the people in America, the people in Colombia, the people in Nicaragua, the people in Honduras, and the people all over the world, we have more in common with each other than the leaders that impose on these countries. And that's something that I think you could say it's a more of an anarchist type of view. The fact that the people of the world have more in common with each other. You could even say it's a socialist kind of view, but at the end of the day, whatever, we're all human beings, and we are exploited and used for war and for political reasons, and that has to end. So
you said, Fee, I just want to really quick, because we mentioned you this morning about how much shit you got when you did reporting, and you broke the fact on this show the first time when I heard it, that you were telling the audience and myself that the weapons that we are sending for the Ukraine don't even get into the Ukrainians' hands, right? They get into the Russians' hands. There was a meme or a tweet out there that the Russians were like, look at all these weapons we just confiscated. Thank you, United States. It's like we're just burning and pissing away money, and it's a scam, because guess who got paid for those weapons despite them ending up in the wrong hands? The military-industrial complex. They got theirs. They don't care who wins the war, who loses the war. The fact they care is that they just have the war.
And there's a black market, too, for the javelins that's also happening.
Oh, yeah.
So that's also happening. So you have these weapons being sold everywhere, and there are weapons. So the Democrats tweeted that 27.5 million bottles of baby formula are coming from Australia to the United States. So Australia is providing baby formula because the United States can't handle it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous.
You gonna read the best part of the tweet, fam? Go ahead.
What?
You got to read the best part of the tweet, the last one.
If Oz wants to put it back up.
It says, "Thanks, President Biden."
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I wasn't gonna read that.
Sorry. That's the part that makes it so comical. I want to know what progressives shared this fucking tweet and just bag on them.
At least he's doing something, Pasta.
If it was Donald Trump, they would have no baby for. He'd let the babies die.
Oh, yeah. No, if it was Donald Trump, they'd be all up in arms. So instead, what the Democrats are doing and what the Biden administration is doing, instead of solving the issues we have with food shortages, baby formula shortages, gas prices, inflation, a really crumbling empire. Everybody, you have mass shootings. I mean, it's just a joke. So, and by the way, I said this to Pasta. I said, I think being in the United States is more dangerous than being in Colombia right now.
So true.
And I mean that.
So true.
I mean that.
Yep.
So First Lady Jill Biden and the U.S. Postal Service are to unveil a new stamp honoring former First Lady Nancy Reagan. On Monday, June 6, 2022 at 11 a.m. Eastern, First Lady Jill Biden will host an unveiling of a new U.S. Postal Service stamp honoring former First Lady Nancy Reagan at the White House. The First Lady will be joined by the Postmaster General and Chief Executive Officer Louis DeJoy, Chairman to the Board of Trustees of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute, Fred Ryan, and Mrs. Reagan's niece, Ann Peterson. Okay, so do you want to RSVP to this event?
Yeah, I love it. Get to meet Louis DeJoy for one thing. You know what I'm saying? The ex-guy from the FedEx thing. And I mean, Nancy Reagan, holy shit, fam. I mean, she did so many great things for America and the world, like make sure Ronald Reagan went to sleep on time and woke him up, make sure he had his PJs on. And I mean, I don't want to defame anybody, but I can't think of anything that Nancy Reagan has fucking done.
Yeah, she was basically just pushing kind of like Jill Biden, actually, which is why this is perfect. Acting like she was the more cognizant one, less evil one, right? They focus on school and education and children like that. And meanwhile, her husband is I would say the pioneer of neoliberalism. I mean, he's the one that helped bring it into its worst phase.
Yeah.
Ronald
he
Reagan
is definitely the deregulation king and started the whole process of getting NATO its wings so it could fly, and Bill Clinton sealed that puppy by adding the jet fuel. So I mean, yes, he fucking crushed a lot of labor shit. And also one of the things he's most known for, fam, when it comes to criticizing Ronald Reagan in a negative way, is that he pretty much closed down a lot of the public health institutions, and a lot of mentally unhealthy people ended up on the street. It actually just exploded during Ronald Reagan's term. So
and a lot of those people became homeless and so on and so forth. And now we're here. With a massive homelessness problem. By the way, Colombia has a significant amount of homeless people, more than I've seen in other parts of Latin America.
Absolutely.
But we have it worse.
Yeah.
We have it worse.
The fucking empire.
Absolutely insane. I mean, and when I go back to LA next week, I really just, it's just going to be so, I just don't know how much worse it's gotten. I know it's gotten worse. And it really, it just goes to show you we're back in the cycle where we have of the, 80s and late 70s, 80s, where you have massive inflation, you have depression, economic depression, you have all this, and we have an incompetent leader, a leader that's a puppet. I mean, Garland Nixon pointed it out. He's he's like Kermit the Frog because he's a puppet. Like he's not really in charge. So that's where we're at. And somebody made a sign. Somebody
won the internet that day.
Yeah. So they said, need money to travel back to 1941 to give Joe Biden's dad a condom. I thought that was funny. I had to include that in the section. Joe Biden and I, we were in Colombia and we were with a bunch of people. We're all different, but everybody was an anti-imperialist in those terms. And so I was talking about how, Joe Biden is the architect of the system, right? He created the system that really Trump exploited. And I think now that he's in power, it's like he doesn't get criticized for it because he's playing the senile old man. But really, I think he's going to be in history as one of the worst presidents we've ever had. One of the most ineffective presidents. And I'd even put it in here, fam, but he's forgiving student loan debt for the people who attended that particular college. I forget. I think it's like Corinthians, yeah.
Doesn't
Like-
exist anymore, right?
Yeah, what about everybody else? Like, and that's not even, that just reduces the interest rates at that point. I mean, it doesn't do that much. I mean, it's something, but it doesn't do that much. I mean, you borrow 30,000, you end up paying double or triple that. That's how bad it is, right? And we were with people from Denmark and people from Germany, and they're like, oh yeah, it's so expensive to go to school. It's like $3,000 or something, they said, that you have to pay to go to the school in Colombia, because some of them are studying. That's it. I'm like, what? Oh my God. Oh, and they're like, oh yeah, I forgot, you guys, you're screwed. And it's like, yeah, we're screwed. I mean, people forget that we are a nation in debt. Like it's crazy. It would be nice to not have, $30,000 of debt, or $100,000 for some people or more. But that's the reality. And people, even in Europe, they don't even know just how bad it is for us here.